The morning afterward, you find that Bakugo and Kirishima have coordinated their schedules so that one of them is always with you between classes. It's a bit much. You're trying to go to the library, and Bakugo's practically scouting the aisles while Kirishima holds your bag. You have to have the I can go to the bathroom by myself conversation. So how do you convince them that you appreciate the wall, but you don't need them to actually be with you 24/7? The training hall smelled like sweat and burnt rubber, the way it always did after a long afternoon session with Class 1A. You were sitting on the bleachers with your water bottle pressed to the back of your neck, watching Bakugo argue with Sero about some technique, while Kirishima laughed beside them, his shark-toothed grin wide and easy. It was a normal afternoon, comfortable, yours. And then Takeda showed up. He was from Class 1B, tall with a lazy kind of confidence that he wore like a jacket, 2 sizes too big. He's been doing this for 3 weeks now, appearing wherever you were, leaning into your space, talking too long, laughing too loud. The first time it happened, you'd been polite about it. The second time, you'd been firm. By the fifth time, you started hoping he'd simply forget you existed. He dropped down onto the bleacher beside you without being invited. Hey, he nudged your shoulder with his. Rough session? You shifted, just lightly. I'm good. You look tired out there. He smiled like that was a compliment. You should let me show you that core stabilization drill that I mentioned last week. My form's pretty solid. She said she's good. You hadn't even heard Bakugo move. He was now standing at the bottom of the bleachers, arms crossed over his chest, red eyes fixed on Takeda, with the kind of flat, dangerous calm that meant he was maybe 30 seconds away from being anything but calm. Sweat was still drying on his jaw. He hadn't even grabbed his water yet. Takeda blinked. I was talking to her. I know what you were doing. Kirishima appeared at Bakugo's side, like it materialized from thin air. Towel around his neck. Expression warm, but eyes sharp. He had that way about him, all easy smiles and open body language. Right up until the moment he wasn't. And the transition was always more unsettling than Bakugo's bluntness, because you almost didn't see it coming. Hey man, Kirishima said, his voice perfectly level. How's training going for you? Takeda looked between the two of them. Fine. Good. Great, actually. Kirishima sat down on your other side, close enough that his arm pressed warm against yours. He reached over and picked up your water bottle, handed it to you without comment. You should probably get back to your class. Flat King looked like he was calling people in. It wasn't true. You all three knew it wasn't. Takeda probably knew it too, but there was something about being flanked by Bakugo's stare and Kirishima's smile that made arguing feel like a bad idea. He stood up, looked at you one more time, like he was considering saying something. Later, he said instead, and walked away. Bakugo watched him for a full 5 seconds before he exhaled through his nose and dropped onto the bench in front of you, turning to face you with his elbows on his knees. How long has this been going on? A few weeks, you admit. His jaw tightened. You didn't say anything about it. I was handling it. You were being polite. He corrected, and the word came out like it tasted bad. There's a difference. Kirishima bumped his shoulder gently against the side of your head. Are you okay? Did he ever say anything that made you actually uncomfortable? Or was it more just... He gestured vaguely. The persistence. The persistence, yes. You said. Mostly, he never crossed the line. He just didn't take the hints. Some people don't take hints, Bakugo said flatly. Some people need a wall. You were not about to be the wall. I was about to be very reasonable. Kirishima made a sound that was somewhere between a laugh and a cough. Bro, you looked like you were calculating blast radius. I wasn't. A pause. I was calculating something else. You laughed despite yourself, and something in Bakugo's shoulders dropped, just slightly, just enough to tell you that he'd been more worked up about this than his face was showing. He reached out and flicked your knee once, which was about as tender as he got in public spaces. You should have told us, he said again, quieter this time. I know. I didn't want to make it a thing. It's already a thing, Kirishima said. It became a thing the second he didn't leave you alone, the first time you gave him nothing back. We're not gonna go full intervention on this guy, but it would have been nice to know, so that we could have had your back sooner. You have my back now. We always have your back, Bakugo said, and there was no inflection in his voice, just statement of fact, immovable as concrete. Kirishima pressed a brief kiss to the top of your head. If he bothers you again, just text one of us, okay? Doesn't have to be a big production. Just let us know. Okay. Alright, Bakugo said as he stood up, rolling his neck once until it cracked, and grabbed his bag from the floor. Now, come on. Lunch is still out, and I'm not eating cold rice because you two are sitting here, having feelings. You were also having feelings, he pointed out. I was having a completely different experience. And what experience was that? He looked back at you over his shoulder, and there it was, that rare thing, the almost smile, small and fast and entirely real. The experience of being right, he said, which I always am. Let's go. Kirishima stood up and offered you his hand, and you took it, falling into step beside him. Bakugo 2 paces ahead, with his hands in his pockets. The training hall noise faded behind you. The afternoon stretched out, warm and ordinary. No one bothered you the rest of the day. Thank you guys for listening. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And goodbye.